सर बता दूं, ये पाकिस्तान पीडियाट्रिक एसोसिएशन की इंटरनेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस थी, उसमें आया हुआ हूँ और मैं मुबारकबाद देता हूँ सारे डेलीगेट्स को, सारे डॉक्टर्स को जो पाकिस्तान पीडियाट्रिक एसोसिएशन को कि उन्होंने ये कामयाब कॉन्फ्रेंस की है। दूसरा, आपने जो सवाल किया है, अब मुल्क में जो क्राइसिस चल रहा है ख़ास तौर पर सैलाब के हिसाब से, हम पूरी दुनिया से मदद मांग रहे हैं सैलाब के लिए, सैलाब के लोगों को, और जो लोग गुजर रहे हैं इससे उन्हीं को पता है। और उसके साथ साथ कोई और लगा हुआ है कि मैंने जाके रोडों पे घूमना है और लोगों को तकलीफ़ में डालना है, उनके लिए मैं क्या कह सकता हूँ। लेकिन अगर यहाँ पे कहीं पे भी सुबह सिंध के अंदर हमने देखा कि लोगों को तकलीफ़ होगी तो हुकूमत बिल्कुल अपना एक्शन उस पर लेगी। देखिए, बयान आदमी है, सीधी सी बात है कि आइन में हर एक का तयन है, हर इदारे का, और उसके अंदर रहना है उसमें, और उसके अंदर लिखे कि कौन सियासत में आ सकता है कौन नहीं आ सकता। तो आइन में लिखा हुआ है, कहने या ना कहने से नहीं, इस मुल्क का कानून गवर्न करता है हर चीज़। इंशाअल्लाह ताला मुल्क का सियासी नहीं, मुल्क का मुस्तकबिल बहुत अच्छा है। और जो लोगों ने मुल्क को तबाह करने के लिए पिछले 2018 के बाद से और वो मैं पहली बार नहीं कह रहा, इधर ही मैंने जब ये तकरीर की अपनी, आपने सुना कि नहीं सुना, वो 3 अस्पताल हैं, NICH, NICVD और जिना अस्पताल जो है, उसको उन्होंने चला हम रहे थे, काम हम कर रहे थे, लेकिन रोज़ाना कोई ना कोई मसला, कभी कोई जाके खड़ा हो जाता था। तो वो लोग, प्रोफेसर जमाल रजा, प्रेसिडेंट इलेक्ट पाकिस्तान पीडियाट्रिक एसोसिएशन, चेयरमैन ऑफ द ऑर्गेनाइजिंग कमेटी, प्रोफेसर खुर्शीद अब्बासी, co-chair ऑर्गेनाइजिंग कमेटी, प्रोफेसर जलाल अकबर, सेक्रेटरी ऑफ द ऑर्गेनाइजिंग कमेटी, प्रोफेसर हबीबुल्लाह बाबर, President PPA, Dr. Khalid Shafi, Secretary General PPA, Dr. Wasim Jamalvi, distinguished members of the PPA, respected delegates, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. It's indeed an honor for me to be here, and I convey my thanks to the Pakistan Pediatric Association for inviting me here today. I also congratulate the organizers for organizing this major international event, which I believe is being held in Sindh after 10 years. Pediatric Association has been organizing major scientific conferences to address various health issues in pediatric medicine, and I hope that during this conference you will come up with solutions and actions for current health situations, especially after COVID and after the devastating floods that we are currently facing. I see great people in front of me. Dr. Ghaffar Billo is here, and I'll just tell you, after your parents, the first person that you remember is your pediatrician. And I do remember my pediatrician also. I don't know, I'm sure, may her soul rest in peace. It was Dr. Mama, who used to have a clinic at the Bambino Chambers, and I still remember going to her because at the pediatrician you used to get a candy or a lollipop or something like that. So people are really, the children are really attached to the pediatricians, and you are doing a great job after the parents, and you actually guide the parents, make sure that the child gets the correct immunization on time, and contribute towards the health of the baby. I also see Murad Rabbani Sahab here. Together with them, the government of Sindh is working on, with the Child Life Foundation, we've got these emergency centers, and the objective was, when they came to us, this was 5 or 6 years ago, even longer than that, when they started with Civil Hospital and then the NICH. And they came to us and they said, the objective was to have an emergency center within 30 minutes of every child in the province. And now with the emergency centers that we have all over the province, along with the telemedicining that they do there, proud to say that we've almost reached our target. And I don't remember the numbers now, Mr. Rabbani would have the numbers. The fertilities or the survival rate of newborns, of infants, has really gone up because of the intervention that we've been doing. Professor Jamal talked about the NICH. We've tried to improve the NICH, and we have had problems with the federal government, but with the grace of Almighty Allah, I hope that these problems are behind us now. The 3 hospitals that were given to us in 2011, which included the NICH along with the JPMC and the NICVD, the federal government has agreed to give them to us over, despite the Supreme Court judgment that we had, they've agreed to give them to us over a long period, lease them to us so that we maintain, operate them and spend money on them. The provincial cabinet has already approved that, the Prime Minister has approved it. It has to just go to the federal cabinet, and we are hoping that it will soon be approved there, and then the tug of war that we've had for the last few years with the federal government would end after that. It's actually ended now. We want this will happen. I'll just briefly talk about the contribution of the medical practitioners, especially in the last few years. We had COVID. The medical professionals were our frontline workers, our frontline warriors, and I'm really grateful to them. I pray for all of them who actually are martyrs, who lost their lives in this fight against COVID, and with their help, and purely their help. And I'll tell you, what I used to do was, when this COVID hit us, because obviously I didn't know anything about it, but I just listened to whatever the doctors told me. And that's what the provincial government of Sindh did, that we just, and all the medical bodies cooperated with us, and they became a spokesperson to convince people to abide by the COVID SOPs that we had prescribed at that time. And with the grace of Almighty Allah, we are one of the least affected countries from COVID, and the world gives an example of how Pakistan countered this COVID crisis that we had. With the grace of Almighty Allah, we became successful. So that's a big success, because just a few years ago we were struggling with it. But again, this has only been possible because of our frontline workers, because of our health workers who've gone from house to house. In spite of the dangers, just day before yesterday, we had deaths due to deaths of polio workers. So it's because of them that we've been able to surmount this problem, and inshallah we will surmount this issue, this problem. Dr. Saab spoke about our immunization. Yes, we need to, and Dr. Saab, the legislation that you mentioned, I'll make sure that it goes through the Assembly. Unfortunately, because of these floods, the Provincial Assembly has not been meeting, and probably will meet either end of this month, in middle of next month, or in the end of November, and I'll make sure that this legislation goes through. Then apart from this other legislation, we talked about making immunization compulsory for ID cards or for issuance of passports. We'll take such measures so that we are able to protect our future generations. I'm once again grateful to the Pakistan Pediatric Association for inviting me here today. I wish all the delegates, and I'm sure that I'm here, there are about 3,000 delegates who are here from all over Pakistan and even from out of the country. I wish that all of you have a great conference, and you come up with solutions, you come up with suggestions for improving the healthcare, not only in this country but worldwide. And inshallah, as long as we've got these dedicated professionals working with us, I don't want to talk about the interventions that we've done in the health sector. I've spoken about it several times, but still we've just scratched the surface. Yes, we've done a lot of work in the tertiary healthcare, but there's a lot to be done in primary healthcare, and that is where we are struggling, and we need your help in order to make sure that the primary health care is available to all our residents in the province of Sindh. So once again, I thank you, Dr. Shah, for inviting me here. I thank the organizers for inviting me here today, and I wish all of you success in this conference. Thank you very much. Next time.